Basa na ng book, guys. History of the Filipino People by Agoncillo and Guerrero. Nandito tayo sa part 3, continuation kahapon, early customs and practices. Today is November 12, 2022. Basahin natin is paragraph marriage customs. Dito tayo sa marriage customs. Basa. Marriage customs. There was a custom not so strictly followed in which a man belonging to one class married a woman of the same class. Thus, a chief married a woman of his rank, a noble that of his class, and a dependent that of his status. Nevertheless, this custom was not rigid, and it was possible for a noble to marry a dependent or a woman of the chieftain class, and a dependent to marry a woman outside his rank. A man's wife was his legitimate wife and was called asawa, while the other women were euphemistically called friends. Only the children of the wife were regarded legitimate and legal heirs, whereas the children of the other women or friends were not considered legitimate and therefore barred from inheriting any property from the illegitimate father. Today guys, meron tayong Rebellia law, yung kay Ramon Rebellia Sr. na batas. Pantay-pantay ang mana niyan kahit na anak ka sa lalabas. Kahit illegitimate child ka as long as kiniglala ka as anak. Siyempre may kasamang DNA test yan para makilala ka. So yun, mayroon na tayong batas na pantay-pantay ang mana para sa anak. It took patience and in spirit of dedication on the part of a man to win the hand of his fair lady. For the custom of the period, a custom that has persisted to this day in some remote areas required that he serve the girl's parents for months and even years. He chopped wood, fetched water, and did chores required of him. He was not supposed to talk his fair lady, only their eyes met occasionally to exchange messages of love. Natawa ko kasi sa panahon natin ngayon, hindi na gaanong oso yan. There was no chance. Siyempre ito noong araw talaga to. There was no chance for them to meet clandestinely, for the girl was zealously guarded by the parents or by the grandparents who were always on the lookout for any sign of mischief on the part of the suitor or their girl. After having satisfied themselves that the suitor would make a good son-in-law and husband, the parents finally gave their consent to the marriage. But first, the man must meet several conditions. The first was to give a dowry called bigay kaya, consisting the land, gold, or dependents. In the absence of this, any valuable articles would do. Next, the poor man must also give the bride to his parents a certain amount of money known as panghimuyat as payment for the mother's nocturnal efforts in rearing the girl to womanhood. Another form of bribe called bigay susu was to be given to the girl's witners who feed the bride during her infancy with milk from her own breast. Not only this, the man must also give the girl's parents another sum of money called himaraw as reimbursement of the amount spent in feeding the girl during her infancy. Among the symbols, there was another bribe that the man must give to the girl's relatives. It was called sambon. The girl's parents arranged all these payments not directly with the suitor but with his parents. It was not an easy matter to make such arrangement, for it usually happened that the suitor's financial status was such that he could not comply with the wishes of the girl's parents. It was the duty of his parents to haggle and to make the final arrangement for the marriage ceremony. This stage of the courtship, immediately before the marriage, was and is still called pamumulungan or pamamalae. Oh, ngayon ko lang ito na pamumulungan or pamamalae. The marriage ceremony differed according to the status of the contracting parties. Among the nobles, a go-between was employed by the groom to bring the bride to him with a lance the go-between fetch the bride from her house. Having arrived at the foot of the groom's steps, the bride pretended to be coy and bashful and would refuse to ascend the stairs. Ulitin nga natin, ito yung mga pamahiin guys o na pagka kinasal ka. Ulit the marriage ceremony differed according to the status of the contracting parties. Among the nobles, a go-between was employed by the groom to bring the bride to him. With Elancy, the go-between fetched the bride from her house. Having arrived at the foot of the groom's steps, hindi natin ito naranasan sa judge sa wis lang tayo kinasali. Pero dapat may ganito pa. Having arrived at the foot of the groom's steps, the bride pretended to be coy, bashful, and would refuse to ascend the stairs. The groom's father then gave her a gift to persuade her to go up into his house. Oh my ganon. The bride then obligingly ascended, and having entered the house now refused to sit down. Another gift was given her. She refused to eat or drink, and consequently the groom's father had to shell out something for her. Groom and bride now drank from one cup. At this stage, an old man announced that the ceremony would begin. An old priestess then made her bow to the guest, and taking the hands of the couple, she joined them over a plate of uncooked rice. With a shout, she threw the uncooked rice to the guest. The latter responded with a loud shout, and the ceremony was over. Oh, hindi ko to nakikita nung araw. Siyempre, hindi na natin to panahon noong araw pa to guys. Panahon pa to ng mga ninuno natin. Kaya yung generation natin hindi na nakakaranas ng ganito. Nakalagay, with a shout, she threw the uncooked rice to the guest. The latter responded with a loud shout, and the ceremony was over. Marriage among the freemen was different in that rice ceremony was omitted. Among the dependents, marriage, ngayon bouquet na ang ihahagis mo, diba? So, nung araw pala, uncooked rice. Oh, dito na tayo sa another paragraph. Marriage among the freemen was different in that the rice ceremony was omitted. Among the dependents, marriage was consummated without benefit or clergy. It was as simple as, will you marry me? And if the woman agreed, then they were considered man and wife. The marriage customs of the Muslims were similar to those of the inhabitants of Luzon. In the first stage of courtship, known as Panalangoni or Berotal, a group of tribesmen of the groom paid the girl a visit. The spokesman announced the marriage proposals to the girl's parents. Who immediately consulted with their relatives. The decision was relayed to the village chief, who in turn informed the suitor parents of the decision. Once accepted, the second stage was set. It was called Pidsunggut, or settlement of the dowry. The village chief had a hand in this, for he actually handled the negotiations with the groom's parents. The dowry was of 7 kinds. The number 1, the kawasatig, consisting of a rather big amount to be given to the close relatives of the bride. Number 2, the siwaka, consisting of brassware of a few hundred pesos to be given to those who had help in arranging the wedding. Number 3, the enduatuan, consisting of brassware of money or animals to be given to the village chief. Number 4, the pangatulian, consisting of jewelry to be given to the girl's mother and aunts. Number 5, the tatas, consisting of a blade to be given to the girl's uncle. The langkad, consisting of a special sum of money to be given to the girl's parents as of sort of fine for having bypassed the elder sister of the bride, if she had any. And number 7, likat consisting of an amount equivalent to 10 or more pesos to be given to the girl's attendant. So, yung number 6 pala talaga. Akala ko ano lang yun, yung pamahili. Nandito lang pala talaga yun sa ano. Sa, yung number 6 guys, yung pagka nalalaktawan ng ano, halimbawa yung kapatid nalalaktawan, naunang nag-asawa yung mas bata, magbibigay syempre ng pera. Ayan as a sort of fine for having bypass to the elder sister. O ayan, so dayan. Pag na nag-bypass ka kay kuya at ate, magbibigay ka ng pera. Kay ate kuya. Okay. Of the bride, if she had any, and number 7, the likat, consisting of an amount equivalent to 10 or more pesos to be given to the girl's attendant. With the questions about the dowry resolved to the satisfaction of the girl's parents and relatives, the third stage was set. Okay. This consisted of the wedding festival known as Big Kawing. The ceremony was held at the home of the village chief. The groom was fetched by an elder from the girl's family and carried to the home of the village chief amidst dances and music. Cheers accompanied the groom. The girl was fetched by a member of the groom's family and brought to the chieftain. Sorry guys. Home amidst the same cheers and dances. The bride and the groom then sat facing each other. The hadji or judge read the so-called instructions to the couple. Ulit guys. The hadji or judge. Okay, hadji pala is judge. Wala na, ano na siya. Nasira Nasundot ko ng ballpen. The hadji or judge read the so-called instruction to the couple. This finished, the groom walked 3 times around the bride, stopping now and then in a desire to lift the veil from the bride's face. This was accompanied by the shouting and laughter of his companions, for it was they who decided when the groom would lift the veil. After a time, they finally gave the signal for the lifting of the veil, and the groom, taking his cue, slowly lifted his bride's veil. The hadji then read the marriage ritual, and holy water was sprinkled on the couple. The wedding ceremony was followed by 6 days of festivities. Not until the 7th night was the groom allowed to spend the night with his bride. Ang tagal, 7 days guys, grabe. Samantalang yung iba pagkakasal, diba? Siyempre, honeymoon agad. Ito, kailangan pa mag-wait ng 7 days. Okay, bukas naman is mixed marriages. Hinta naman tayo dito guys. Bye everyone. God bless.